So I'd like to introduce the Vice President and General Manager of Avery Dennison Fastenal North America, John Wurzburger. Avery Dennison is a $5.5 billion Fortune 500 business in the pressure-sensitive adhesive industry. They're the global leader in self-adhesive consumer products and label materials. The clear label on the tea or the beer, do I say beer in here? Or the salsa container that you had was probably made by Avery Dennison. The stamp you no longer lick was made by Avery Dennison. So very interesting things that they do. Avery Dennison employs 22,700 people worldwide and has had business operations in northeastern Ohio since 1954 and is one of the largest employers in Lake County. John Wurzburger has been with Avery since 1988 when he started as a sales representative, and he has an interesting story of how that happened. I really enjoyed it. He was promoted to marketing manager in 1991. He left Avery for a few years, but returned in 1997 as the general manager of the premium packaging and pharmaceutical division. He was again promoted in 1999, this time to vice president. In 2001, he got to have some international experience by spending 3.5 years running Avery's Buenos Aires, Argentina division, and in fact, his family, including their 8-year-old daughter, speaks fluent Spanish at home. They only speak Spanish in the house. So it's really interesting to get that opportunity to do that. During the time he was in Buenos Aires, he won Avery's General Manager of the Year award. He returned to Northeast Ohio in 2005, where he's been the Vice President and General Manager of the entire Fastenal division of Avery ever since. He has a BS in Business Management from Cornell University and an MBA from Johns Hopkins. He's a 3-time All-American in lacrosse and is currently serving on the board of directors for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society and the United Way of Lake County. John lives in Russell with his wife Sandy and his daughter. So please, everyone, if you'd help me welcome John Wurzburger from Avery Dennison.
Thank you very much. God, when I listen to that introduction, I really feel old. Unfortunately, I have been real fortunate to have had a great career with Avery Dennison. So tonight, I hope to shed some insights for you all as to the things that I've learned in my leadership experience, as well as I think some insightful stories, and hopefully again some nuggets you can take away as tomorrow's leaders. I think it would be helpful, because most of you are heading into the business world here in some way, shape, or form, to talk a little bit about my entrance into the business world and a little bit about my career. The story Chris alluded to was one of probably the more profound experiences. In my undergrad, the library was full during final exam time, and I was forced to go to the graduate library. And when I was walking by the wall, I saw these sign-up sheets for interviews, and it said in big, bold words, MBAs only. And so I went and looked down the sheets at the various companies, and I noticed Avery Dennison, and I noticed a 10 o'clock slot that was the only one not filled in. And I went to the young lady in the library area, and I said, you know, I'm an undergrad, but there's nobody signed up for that slot. Is that guy going to actually be from Avery Dennison in the room at 10 o'clock? She said, I don't have any idea, but MBAs only. And I came back at 10 o'clock, and I went in the room, and I sat down. I said, I have to tell you, I'm not an MBA, but I'm really intrigued. I've done some research on Avery Dennison. Everything needs a label. And we immediately engaged in discussion. 3 weeks later, I was out here in Paynesville interviewing, and then 4 days after graduation, I began my career with Avery Dennison. So it's been really a terrific experience. And I look back and I say, if I didn't take that opportunity, if I didn't look at that schedule, if I didn't take the initiative to show back up and go the extra mile, I think the thing that that individual was most impressed with was my initiative to have the courage to come, even though I didn't have the MBA. So I started out in the sales training program with Avery Dennison, and then moved into a sales role, and had pretty good success because I never, ever lost focus on providing value for my customers. I was then promoted to some marketing roles out here in Northeast Ohio. Those of you who don't know, we were located right off 44 in Concord. Now I probably had one of the shorter rides here in that we're right on the other side of the bridge on Garfield Road and 90 in a brand new 220,000 square foot headquarters building, which we're extremely proud of, and we just cut the ribbon a few weeks ago. So that's been really wonderful. I went through a little bit of a reflection period in the mid-90s, and I left Avery Dennison. I looked for greener pastures, as everyone always does, and I thought it was the right thing to do for me at the time. I didn't see where the company was going. I thought I was probably better than I really was, and all those good stories. And as it would be, and my wife is in the audience tonight, even when I had left Avery Dennison, every time we went to the store, everywhere we went, I was always looking for the Avery label. So I may have left Avery Dennison in my head, but my heart didn't leave. And I was fortunate that they came looking for me 3 years later, and I was able to return in a general manager's role with the company, soon to be promoted to VP. And then I had one of the strangest phone calls of my life. I was in a meeting all set on my life in Northeast Ohio here, and my boss said, come on over, I need to talk to you. How would you like to move to Buenos Aires, Argentina? And I said, well, I'm going to have to ponder for a minute. He said, it's the best opportunity you'll ever face. I've done an international assignment, and you'll just grow from it. And I got to tell you, he was right. We grew personally and professionally on a trajectory that you can never get really on the job. And I'll come back to that in a few minutes. And then, fortunately, a couple of years ago, or now a year and a half ago, I was tapped to run Fastenal Roll North America, which is the largest operating division in Avery Dennison. So, again, I've been very, very fortunate, and I hope tonight that I can share a few stories with you, share a few learnings, and you'll walk away feeling pretty good that you didn't just waste this beautiful Northeast Ohio evening, because I don't think tomorrow night's going to be as nice. I want to give you a little flavor for Avery Dennison, because we're a little like the BASF of the world. We do a lot behind the scenes, and you really don't know we're everywhere. Nobody would probably realize that every clear Bud Light label or Heineken or Amstel is manufactured right on Heisley Road. In our manufacturing facility there. Many other applications and things I'll talk to you about. So I just have a really short 3-minute, maybe three-minute overview of the company that I think will give you a flavor, and I'll narrate some of it because we didn't take the music piece with it. So again, what we do is probably one of the, no matter where you go, and I'm not going to narrate the whole thing, no matter where you go, we are there. All those cool decals you see on the sides of cars, planes, all these types of things you see, that's a lot of Avery Dennison produced product, and a lot of it done here right in your backyard in the Paynesville, Mentor area. I will put on the music, but it's kind of one of those put you to sleep kind of lobby music. Yeah, one area we're really big in is reflective products. So the highway signs that you see at night and this type of thing, all these kinds of, one of the most prolific one is when you come up behind a bus or a truck and you see these red and white reflective strips on the back. That's called conspicuity tape. It's one of the biggest safety products in the world. We invented the self-adhesive stamp. We started that development in the 70s, and it took us 24 years to get the United States Postal Service and the American economy to move over to stop licking and start sticking. So And there's some of the most prolific new applications. I know those cookies look good. You'll get a chance to share in that in a minute. A very big part of our business, those of you who hate your itchy tags in the back of your collars, any of those that have purchased some new products nowadays, you will see the new tag, which is not sewn on. It's thermal imprinted on the back of your sweater, so you'll no longer have itchy tags that you can cut off. And you got to remember, when you cut them off, you then don't know how to wash or how to treat the garment. So there's all kinds of things. We just launched a product. You see our little slogan guy there? We just launched a product where you can literally, on your computer at home, create a T-shirt that says anything on it, clip art, happy birthday to your kid, whatever. So lots of, again, really big demand. There's a fine local product, Sherwin-Williams. They got rid of the paint pail, the aluminum pail, and are moving to plastic, no drip. Products. That is a beautiful label. I wish we could sell more paint, because that is a huge pressure-sensitive label. That's about 36 square inches of material. I would be able to retire a lot earlier if we could sell a lot more Sherwin-Williams paint. Again, this is our roots. You can see the stamp, 1974, but not till 1997 did it literally begin to move. There you see. And I'll talk a little bit more about some products here momentarily, just to give you a flavor. The latest and greatest is what is called radio frequency identification. We have formed a division, and we're probably well ahead of the market, because we're losing a lot of money in radio frequency identification. But when it comes, we believe it's going to replace the barcode, and everything will have a tag on it. Radio frequency identification is really important in pharmaceuticals and tagging of product, because it allows you right down to the unit to know exactly where it is at any time in the inventory stream. So companies have a lot of problems with counterfeiting and employees lifting materials and things. This would, if somebody took a product and put it in their pocket and tried to get away with it, and it was a narcotic or something, you would be able to see where that product's moving throughout your facility. And I guess the other big thing is we are basically in every country in the world. We are the market leaders. In North America, we have nearly 50% of the self-adhesive market. And our next competitor is in the teens. So we have a very, very significant global position as well as a North American position. So again, 22,700 employees. And we are all about our values, our ethics, and our communities. We stay very, very active in this local Lake County community, and are either the second or third largest employer, depends who you talk to, Lubrizol or Avery. We are either the second or third largest employer in Lake County, and you can see some of our end users. Everything but the Heineken you should probably be a big consumer of: Duracell, Sobe, Nabisco. So again, we are everywhere you look, and we're absolutely behind the scenes. So I hope that gave you a little bit of a flavor for the company. Now, I think any leadership presentation, I gotta start out with a little bit of reality. Our business model faces a lot of tremendous opportunity and also a lot of challenge. And I'm going to start with the opportunities. We see, and I think it's really important, we see a tremendous opportunity in emerging geographies. You saw one that I worked in: Latin America, Russia, Western Europe, and Asia. Those are the big areas of investment. And we see a lot of opportunity. And if you look at the per capita consumption in those regions versus the Western area, it is very, very low. So it's a huge opportunity. We believe, I mentioned market share, we have a lot of market leadership and scale in our business, and we got a lot of people capability. I'm going to come back to that because it's really important. And we also are the leader in technology and invest a lot in technology. I mentioned some of the new applications. There's some other really new and interesting applications. You probably saw this up on the screen, but this has really just been a recent phenomenon. This has been in the store for less than 6 or 8 months, but a big opportunity. Those of you who every once in a while have a little cookie, you may or may not notice, but this technology has changed dramatically. This is actually a pressure-sensitive label on top, and it obviously serves as a reclosure label for the freshness of the product. This is allowing Kraft and Nabisco to significantly differentiate themselves on the shelf. And I brought some extras that you guys can both test the performance of the product and also test the quality of the product inside. Yes, I think there's one interesting feature. One of the test protocols with this product is it has to not make noise when it's releasing off the package, because a lot of people like to sneak cookies. And if it makes noise, and I'm dead serious, it was part of Nabisco's test protocol, they wanted to make sure that if somebody was in the evening sneaking a cookie, that they could not be heard sneaking the cookie. So I told them they better change their package because it's pretty crinkly noise. Some other very interesting moves. Those of you who enjoy the hoop games and the things that have been on lately, you will see a technology change. Tostitos used to be a glue label, a paper glue label, and they have also moved to a clear pressure-sensitive label. They believe that this differentiates their product on the shelf and gives them a more upscale look. So keep consuming lots of Tostitos, and you'll be supporting Avery Dennison locally, because this product also is manufactured off Heisley Road. Another part of our business that is probably the one you guys see more likely is items like this. We invented the retractable barrel system on the highlighters, and when you're leaving tonight, you make sure that you hit up a few of my folks back there, because we have some little gifts for you to take, so when you're doing all that reading and things, you can make sure you're using an Avery Dennison highlighter, not my competition. So there's lots of emerging opportunity. Well, with opportunity comes challenge, and we have plenty of those. We have a growth problem in North America. Our top line is not growing at the pace we would like to, because the market has matured in North America. It's quite sluggish, actually. You see all those GDP figures, and you see all the government releases, and then you see 3 or 4 weeks later they come out with a revision. And very, very seldom in the last 3 or 4 years has the revision ever gone up. So it's creating a tremendous amount of pressure on the organization from a cost position. We also have this wonderful thing called oil that is going all over the board. And oil is a supply and demand phenomena, and it really has nothing to do with 15 British soldiers being captured in Iran, but $59 to now $65 because 15 British soldiers were captured. That creates an amazing amount of cost pressure on our business model. Those filmic products, adhesives, silicones, everything we do, including energy, is petroleum-based. So we have a lot of pressure, and a lot of pressure on price with the Walmarts of the world and people like that. And I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that it puts a lot of pressure on myself and my leadership team around employee morale, company stability, and trying to keep performance and keep talent in this competitive environment. My single biggest challenge is talent acquisition, talent management, and talent retention. And as tomorrow's leaders, you're going to find that it's a really, really competitive world out there. And to come in and really make an impression in an organization, it's a really big deal. So we're constantly on the search for the top talent, but in the Cleveland area, there's a lot of companies fighting us for that. So leading in this environment, I think it's all about finding a focal point or a focus in your organization, especially one of 2,200 employees like we have in Fastenal Roll North America. 500 sit in the building here. Across the street, but we have 2,200 around the division. And I think the biggest thing, and one of the biggest areas that I can impart on you tonight, is about change. Anytime you get an opportunity to embrace change, to change what you're doing, change how you're doing it, you need to do it, because it is absolutely an incredible attribute that you got to have, because if you're not flexible, all that happens as you grow older is change becomes more difficult. And in this marketplace, in this dynamic, you have to be very flexible. You have to be flexible to different leadership styles. I've had 5 or 6 different leaders over the years, and I've learned to love some things about them and hate some things. But they've all allowed me to grow, and I've been able to grow as a result of taking each, value from the individual. So I would absolutely tell you that change and flexibility are among the most critical elements to success. My family, the Latin American experience, my family, I introduced change to them overnight. And I mean change in every facet. Different language, different culture, different cars, different driving habits, different everything. And the ability to embrace change has made them and myself, both personally and professionally, just really different people. And I think as you get the opportunity to change and challenge yourself, make sure you take every chance you get. Now, my lessons learned in leadership, and again, I hope you take away a few of these points tonight, but I never, ever slip from my core values of integrity, honesty, and people and community. Those are things that you just never, ever sacrifice. And boy, you get a lot of pressure in this kind of business environment to, weaken in those particular areas. If your organization sees you weaken, you're in big trouble, because they come to respect and honor and stand behind you because of those principles. I would tell you also that everything you're going to hear from me tonight, I apply to myself personally and professionally. I don't want you to go interview my wife on everything I say, but I try really, really closely to be able to walk the talk both in the office and at home. So let me start with a few of those points. I think the biggest one, as I talk about organization, is to prioritize, align, and create a vision that the whole organization can feel, relate to, and the biggest thing in leadership is to stick with it. What we tend to do is we tend to get a corporate request, a divisional request, an employee request, whatever it is, and we try to swing to the flavor of the day. And it's a disaster for strategy, and it's a disaster for big organizations, because they really get confused. What are we today? We want to grow. No, we want to be profitable. No, we want both. That's what Wall Street wants, but it's difficult. And so you got to stick with your strategies, especially in organizations. You got to set direction, and you got to stay with it. And it's hard as heck when the CEO calls you and says, hey, you're not doing this right, you're not doing that right. You got to be able to talk about why you're doing it. And my vision for the culture within the organization is customer-focused, collaborative, and winning. And I think placing some structure is the key to sustainability within the organization. It's not easy, but it's absolutely a must. I think the second point I would make here is take challenges, both business and professionally, in parts and not as a whole. I think if you look at everything as that 1,000-pound gorilla standing in front of you, you're just not going to know where to start. And you're going to be tentative, and you got to get some small wins as you're going. I find, every leader is always looking for the home run, is always looking for the multi-million-dollar win. And I believe in getting some small wins to build industry or to build organizational momentum. And then you find that you get the organizational steam behind it, and you make a lot of progress a lot faster. Looking for the home run all the time is a high-risk strategy. And often, if the home run's out there, somebody's found it. Somebody's found it. It's darn hard to find something truly, really innovative. And we use in Avery Dennison some tools around that. Around growth, we use what is called the Horizons methodology. It's about smaller projects in shorter time windows, and it's about quantity and velocity of execution. So we have 30, 60, 90-day report outs. At the 90-day report out, if it's not done, it's gone. It's gone. We don't keep projects alive because we don't have the resources, and then something else is coming on. The other thing is in competition. If I tried to focus on every one of my competitors, I would go crazy. So I got to focus on the ones that have the most impact on my business strategy and can be the biggest derailer to my organization's success. The other thing that I like about the step-by-step approach is it reduces complexity. If you take things in small pieces, people can grab them and hold on to them in a more tangible fashion. So we do a lot of that within the organization. Now, the next point is going to be a little controversial because it always is when you say it, but it's all about the people and less about the customer. Leaders tend to be waving the flag of customer, 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 and that is absolutely the thing to do. But you'll see here, customer-focused, collaborative, and winning cultures are not formed by customers. They are formed by employees and people. Great strategies aren't executed by customers. They are executed by people. I think if you focus your people on the right things, the customer needs, and right attitude, you get a heck of a lot farther. And you know, the problem, again, is you're so customer-centric. And we, as an organization, are incredibly customer-centric. Everything we try to do is about the customer. And what happens is the employee says, yeah, what about me? So, again, if you can focus in a leadership role, you can focus your efforts on your employees, you just find out that you're not wondering what's happened at the customer. When that customer service rep picks up that phone, you know they're coming with the right attitude, because they know you care about them. They know that you have skin in the game and you care about the employees. And that is really hard to translate into the organization because you're so customer, customer, customer. Every time I stand in front of them, it's all about the customer. But they know deep down inside, when I'm walking the halls and whatever, it's about the employees. And I work really, really hard at that. And the new building has done incredible things for the culture. We used to be in multiple buildings in Concord. Now we're all in one building. You know, we removed offices and barriers and different things like that, and we're now working as a much better team, and we created that environment. And I'll make one statement that if you don't take anything from tonight, take this, because it was told to me by one of my biggest customers. He said to me, people buy from people. People do not buy from companies. And it has resonated with me throughout my career because it is truly about people. If you have a bad experience with a person at a company, you're going to go find another place. And there's going to be always somebody there from a corporate standpoint or a company standpoint. So please keep that in mind, that people buy from people. So when you pick up that phone and somebody's got a bad attitude, you're going to translate, you know what, I'm the customer here. I'm going to have a bad attitude too. And it doesn't make for a very, very good experience. I think another really good point and something that I really drive into my organization is mistakes will happen. It's the recovery that builds loyalty. And I think that is really, really important as you talk. Every day of the week, mistakes happen. It's you know, we ship 95% of our product right all the time to our customers. 95. Do you know what I hear about all the time? The 5%. I never hear about the 95. I constantly hear about the 5. And I think the fact of the matter is you got to have as good of a plan B and plan C around the mistake as you do around getting the 95 right, because stuff happens. I can't predict snowstorms that shut down my 2 factories in Indiana. I can't. I can't, you know, predict that something's going to happen with the internet and the system's going to go down and then we're going to lose an order. I can't do that. So I got to have systems in play that allow the recovery to say, you know, that happened, but boy, they really pulled themselves together and made me feel good about it. I had a problem with contact lenses a while back, and the company airshipped it at their expense, but inside they gave me a 20% discount on my next purchase. So what did they do? They built loyalty by getting it there and them paying. And then they said, you know what, just in case he's thinking about going somewhere else, when he opens that box, we're going to sucker him right back in with another 20% off to make sure he's not going someplace else. Great, great marketing tool, but what a great plan around building loyalty in a bad, bad potential situation. Another point here, too much instinct and not enough data creates added risk. We tend to be very, very comfortable with what we know. So my instinct says, let's do it this way. And early in my career, I got burned a lot because I thought I knew a lot, and data overruled me. People would say, yeah, okay, great decision, but look at what the data says. We didn't do what your gut said was going to happen. So I would tell you to use data to drive the decision and then use instinct to verify and ratify you made the right choice. I think we rely too much on instinct and experience, and it sometimes overrules data. And if you use a little data, you could probably make some better business decisions. One of my favorite ones, learn from the past and forget it. The past is a very, very dangerous piece of what we all have in our minds. I use with my employees many times the windshield and rear view mirror example. The windshield is huge because you're looking out ahead. Take a look when you're driving home tonight and take a look what you can see out the windshield looking forward. Take a look when you look in the rear view mirror what you can see. And I tell you that the past is a dangerous thing because the past prevents us from getting to the future and getting to the opportunities, because we tend to want to know what's happening behind us. And the race is actually in front of us, not behind us. So if you're talking about companies around innovation and different things like that, you have got to be going forward. If you're focused, it's good to know what's going on behind you, but it's not good to get your organizational focused around it. The capability to flow from strategic to technical. You know, vice president, general manager. I would challenge you to ask any of my employees in the room how many times that I have ever waived my title or anything like that. I believe strongly that I have to be able to go up strategically and really set the long-term vision for the corporation, stand in front of the board of directors, and do all those wonderful things. But I got to do something else too. I got to show my employees that I really understand the business, and I got to roll up my sleeves. I sit in some of our Horizon teams. I walk the halls and talk to my employees about what's happening. I don't do it as much as I should, but I try like heck to do it. And absolutely, the ability to flow from strategic to tactical, the devil is in the details. Most of the time, when something goes wrong, it's down in the details. And you can't be there all the time, but I'll tell you, if you can go there and really understand what's going on in the organization, you can find out about morale issues before they become big issues. You can find out about quality issues, service issues. The people that really know what's happening in my business are definitely not on my leadership team at times, but they're way down in the organization. And the ability to get down there and relate to those employees and have them open up, I have found my best solutions there. Again, I want to make sure you understand the concept of walk the halls. It's not walk the halls and say hi and all that. It's walk the halls and talk to employees and see what they're really feeling about the company and about their job. Another one here, manage what you have and lead for what your vision is. Here's the one comment on that. Many times you lead because you're thinking about all these other things, and you don't really understand and perceive what you have in front of you. And I think the lack of understanding about what you have and managing it well and then driving for the new vision and driving for what you want, we tend to miss a lot of opportunity. So always be asking your customers, asking your employees, do surveys, get feedback, because I think it's really important to understand how you're really perceived. Our employees during surveys, they really tell us how they feel. And I think it's a real eye-opener. But it's something, if you just pass it over, it can be a real demotivator for the organization. I think another piece here is risk and uncertainty. Risk and uncertainty equal opportunity for personal and business growth. You know, those words, risk and uncertainty, for most everybody that reads them, what do they say? Negative. Watch out. And the reality of it is those words are probably the biggest door-opening opportunity words you'd ever want to see. Because if you don't manage risk and uncertainty, you're probably not going to find opportunity. Most individuals are afraid of these two terms, quite frankly. And, you know, I really understood this in my tenure in Latin America. I was telling the gang during dinner, the minute I moved to Argentina, they had just come off 5 presidents in a week. They decided to float their currency, which is the Argentine peso. They decided to hold it at one level. I started to sell product, and 10 days later, they decided to float the currency. And Those of you who know what floating the currency means, they put it out in the open market, and the currency went from a fixed rate of 2 to almost 4 before I could shut the doors and stop selling. So my first experience, I lost $800,000 for the company. And you want to talk about a growth experience? That ride home, after talking to the CEO about why'd you do it, and you know, he had a tremendous opportunity to throw me under the bus and really say, hey, you know, what are you doing? You don't know what the heck you're doing. You've been a new culture, new economic situation. You start selling and you lose the company $800,000. Instead, he said, you know, this is probably one of the lower cost learning experiences I've ever funded in my life. And you know, when I thought about it, man, what a risk he took, and what a way to manage it. He said, now, what'd you learn? So I'm driving home telling him, you know, what I learned, and I mean, literally, I was completely freaked out, completely out of my element. But again, one of those days when you learn to grow as a leader, and you know, you sit back and you say, wow, what a mentor. He had a chance to be really nasty, and he was so focused on growing and learning from the experience. And you know, we kept the doors closed for 2 months in Argentina. So I was literally sitting on my hands for the first couple of months. It gave me time to ordain to the culture and all different types of things like that. But you know, risk and opportunity. I had customers that had been in business for 25 years coming in, crying, pleading with me to sell, pleading with me to open my doors. And I stood by them. And we worked together, and the minute things improved, our business went through the roof because they never forgot the fact that I didn't throw them back out. I looked at risk and opportunity, knowing what I had been through, and I said, we're going to work our way through this, and we're going to be better and stronger at the other side, but it's going to be pain on the way. And the loyalty that we built managing risk and opportunity, or risk and uncertainty, was something I'll never, ever forget. And I look at that and I say, how many people don't like those words? Most. So when you see risk and uncertainty, it should equal opportunity. Now you got to be cautious and be smart, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend everybody to lose $800,000 on their first journey with risk and opportunity, but I would also tell you that it creates a lot of opportunity. My last point here is probably my most important and my most impactful. I think, and again, as tomorrow's leaders, I think you got to enjoy what you do. Don't take a decision to do something that you don't want to do. You got to have some fun. You got to approach your job and leadership with a positive, passionate, inspiring, and caring style. And you know, my job is not easy at all. I have to deliver bad news around the business results. I sometimes have to lay off people. I have to fire. I have lots of uncertainty in the role and the responsibilities I have. But I can tell you, you know, if people genuinely know I care and I'm trying like heck and I show up every day to make it better, you know, even in those chaotic situations and chaos and cutbacks and things, people know that I'm trying every day to do what's right for the business. Going back to having fun, I don't think you can sign up for something that you really don't like. A leader will know when your heart's not in it. You know, when you just don't want to be there. You can look in somebody's eyes and you can just tell they don't want to be there. And there's lots of opportunities out there. Make sure as you're looking that you find something you really like to do. And it may take a few, you know, tries and different things. I tell you, I jumped over the fence for greener pastures, and I was miserable. I loved labels, I loved the company, and I was miserable. It was a great career experience because I found out, you know what, it isn't always greener on the other side of the fence. And that's a tough experience. And I was fortunate that Avery Dennison came after me, and I was able to get back in the company that I really enjoyed being in. But you can find negative anywhere you go, any place, anywhere. Just watch the first 25 minutes of the news. How many good human interest stories do you see? You might catch it if you just catch the last 5 minutes after sports and weather. Nobody focuses on the positive. Bad news sells. And my message to you is really like what you do. It may take some opportunities for you to find it, but it's absolutely a lot of fun being in a job that you feel good about driving there. My employees hear from me all the time. I try to get to work as fast as possible because I want to be there. I don't wait. I hope that there's going to be a red light at the intersection and that I got an extra 2 minutes away from the office or anything like that. I want to be there, and I want to be successful for the organization. I want to just finish with one comment because I think it's a really pertinent one. You know, you look at life, and life is full of highlights and lowlights and troughs and valleys. And I think one of the most important things, both personally and professionally, is how deep that valley is. And I find in organizations, even around difficult situations, if you can go into that valley, and because it's going to happen no matter what, when you go into that valley and you go in with a positive attitude of already starting to claw your way out, and you go in and you end here instead of going here, great organizations and great leaders find ways to raise that trough up so you don't go deep, because the time getting out is a lot of wasted energy. And I can't tell you how hard I work to make sure when we're going to go into a difficult situation that I prepare and communicate my organization for that, and I make sure when we get in there that we have our plans out. So you're gonna go through it in your school, you're gonna go through it in your personal life, but if you really focus on making sure when you go into that low point that you just don't go and stay, and you work your way back out, it can have a really profound impact on who you are as a leader and who you are as a person. So with that, I'll end, and I'll move it to question and answers. So feel free to ask anything, and don't be shy. Yes. Don't ask the young lady up in the corner. I probably spent more time in other countries than I spent at home, but I traveled about 82. We were there almost 4 years, and I traveled because of the tax situation. You have to file taxes on where you are every single day when you're an expatriate. The United States tax requires that. So I know exactly where I was every day when I was living in Latin America. And our biggest operations were in Brazil and Colombia. So I had a really unique opportunity to go to great places like Bogota, Medellin, and Cali, Colombia, some of the garden spots of the universe from a safety standpoint. I would tell you that I was responsible for all the way down, so Central America, all the way down through South America. So I had opportunities to go to one of our most U.S.-friendly countries called Venezuela, where the current president of Venezuela is really not too fond of the United States at this point. And so we had a lot of challenges from a safety and security standpoint. But you know what was amazing is I ran 7 businesses for the corporation in basically 4 geographies. So I was watching at any time 28 moving parts. And then you take on top of that, 7 currencies, 7 socio-political volatile situations. I mean, you just didn't know where to place your bets. So everything you did, you had plan A through Z because you just didn't know what was going to blow up next. I had one of the most impactful learning experiences in my career, and it wasn't a positive one. It was a deep trough for me, but I pulled myself and pulled my organization out. I had a very big case of fraud in one of our businesses, and there's no bigger thing that hits you right in the heart to find out that one of your own behind your back was just embezzling piles of material and money and tax issues and things like that. I will never look at things, and I will never look at a P&L, profit and loss statement, ever the same way I do today because of those experiences. So, we really learned from a negative experience. But, those are things that in the U.S. economy, they happen. You got a lot of crime, blue collar crime, white collar crime, all kinds of crime within the businesses. But in Latin America, it's a real big challenge. So, traveled all the geographies and really got a very holistic experience. The only thing I could have done is wait another, X period of time to begin selling. And we, the government locked in the peso at 2-to-1 with our U.S. dollar and said they were sticking with it. And we waited 2 weeks to make sure they were sticking with it. And I literally had owners of businesses coming in just falling to their knees, pleading to sell them material because they had no livelihood, their businesses were going down. So we literally opened the door and started to sell material, and the government made a really rash, volatile decision to decide to flip the currency. So what could we have done? Just had more doubt in the sustainability of the peso being fixed. It was just a rough experience, and we paid dearly. But again, I think the more important point than the 800,000 was the loyalty we built sticking with those people, because it was pretty devastating. And another big thing, being Avery Dennison, a global multinational, we had the fortitude to stand behind that crisis and manage our way through it, where the local competitors were on their back. If they opened the door, they were dead. So I had really good support from our corporate office as well. So that was pretty insightful as well. Yeah, great. Great question. See, a common thing we overlook. You just assume what Avery Dennison does. This product, for example, would be a pressure-sensitive label. We would coat this product on a coater as long as a football field. What we do is lay down silicone, which is the release piece, and adhesive, and then we marry a liner or face stock to it. The liner, in this application, would go down a high-speed line. The label would be wrapped on the container. The release liner, which is the part you throw away. The best way to describe it is, when you have those stickers, "Hello, I am," and you peel it back and you stick it, and then you throw the other. That's the release liner. This would be on a release liner, but it's on a package. These are labeled at about 1,000 bottles per minute. So this just rips. Beer is 1,200 bottles a minute. And we coat and we sell a clear film to a printer who prints Tostitos and all that, and then sells it to PepsiCo or Frito-Lay, who then sends it to a packaging plant who fills the salsa, puts the lid on, and then puts the label on. Pressure sensitive is the technology of where you have sticky adhesive where you peel back a release liner. So the easiest way is like the "Hello, I am," and throw the release liner. That's our biggest application of the biggest business under all of it is. But for example, the reflective road sign you can see on the highway, that's manufactured. So it comes with a release liner. It's peeled back from the reflective material, and then it's fastened on to the metal sign material. So see the graphics on the side of an airplane or a truck or T-shirts or that kind of stuff. It's all done through that methodology. Teamwork.
This is a planted question.
Yeah, this is a planted question. Teamwork is probably, we talked a little bit about this at dinner, so this was a little bit of a planted question, but it's really one that's pertinent in how we there is almost no role in our organization that is called what we would classify as an individual contributor, where you kind of work in your own world, you do your own thing, and you don't have anybody else that you interact with. Those roles are almost exclusively long gone. As a matter of fact, I can't even think of one right now. So everything we do is about teamwork and collaboration and working together. Because the other thing about that individual contributor role is you're stuck in it forever if you're not training or helping somebody else learn that role. So, in your roles, you're in a highly competitive environment. You're trying to do better than him. She's trying to do better than you because you're always trying to get ahead and be the best you can. And absolutely, you should do that. But once you enter into the business world, I'll tell you, it all goes away because you've got to be able
to have the ability to work as a team and work together and on a common vision. The worst problem I had, and it was really prevalent in Latin America, was silos. Brazil was in their own world. Argentina was in their own world. And I could never get them to work together. And some of it was because they don't like their soccer teams. Some simple things like that. That culturally, for me, hey, this is business. This isn't about who's playing who in the World Cup. I don't care who about the World Cup. This is about business. And some people pulled me aside and said, hey, don't underestimate the impact of soccer in these people's lives. So don't downplay it, manage it, have a little fun. So, you know, during the World Cup matches, we shut down all the factories and got brought in big screens, and for that 2 hours, we totally focused on what was important for them. And the loyalty we built was amazing. Brought in empanadas and teas that they liked, and we just had a lot of fun for 2 hours. And man, when they went back to work, were they motivated? And you know, you talk about this, so everything you do is really about a team. And the hardest thing about my job is to get people to work together, and to really get out of their silos and to look at how the interdependencies are so mission critical to the success of the organization. So it's clearly one of the biggest ones, but it's a little counterintuitive for you guys right now, because getting an A, getting a B, being the best in class is really what your DNA is about right now. But there's a whole heck of a lot to learn just about each other in the classes. I know you guys do some team projects and things like that. You know, I was fortunate. I got most of my team being athlete, and you know, I value those days because it really helped me understand that dependency at a pretty young age, and I had team kind of building in my DNA. But really, when we're looking at resumes, we really look at, are they individual contributors, can they act as a team? Give me examples of how you work as a team, your classes, all of those kind of things. It's going to be really critical going forward, because there's very few roles we have that are just simply individual contribution roles.
Thank you, John. It's absolutely wonderful having you.
Thank you. I'll be around later if any of you are either uncomfortable asking questions or you
have anything you want to do with that. I'll be around. And don't forget to pick up your. I failed, you know, to mention, but we have a few little things that you're hard to remember. Avery Dennison.
See Mrs. Golden in the back. She has the highlighters. And good night, everyone. Thank you.